In the sprint fan zone at Daytona International Speedway, as we are still under our third full course caution and pit stops continue. Right now it's our pleasure to welcome a special guest to our announce booth, 2007 Formula One world champion Kimi Raikkonen. Kimi, welcome to Florida.
Yes, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Well, it's good to have you. Now, we know you're a great fan of motorsports and of participating in all forms of motorsports. You've done the NASCAR thing, you've done the rallying thing. You've run a race or two in Formula One. What do you think of the Grand Am Rolex series? You think this is maybe where a guy with your skills would fit right in?
You know, I'm not quite sure how fighting into sports cars. You know, it is a difficult thing for me to understand how to share a car with another driver. You know, I don't really understand how that works.
There's lots of beer out there in the infield, Kimi, but do you find any vodka this week?
You know, I may have found a place or two to find some vodka, yes.
Okay, we can't do this anymore with a straight face. Of course, this is James Hinchcliffe doing his spot-on impersonation of one Kimster.
Was Kimi here? Did I miss him?
Yeah, well, actually,
I thought I saw a guy, blonde-haired guy walking out.
Right.
I always miss him.
Well, that was Bruce Knox from Circuit of the Americas. You having fun? I know you wanted to drive, and that wasn't possible. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, you know, it's a difficult situation, but right off the bat, I got to say, huge credit to everybody at Mazda and at Speed Source. You know, we came here, brand new project with the Speed 6 and the Sky Active Diesel, and you know, this is a team that's used to winning. They're used to preparing at the highest level, and trust me, they did that despite what happened today, because it's such a new project. It's a new technology with the diesel, and these guys have been absolutely working their tails off the last couple months to get these cars on the grid. And I think before the green flag, the most any of them had run was 8 consecutive laps. So to make it even as far as we did, I think is a big step forward. That car's going to improve. So again, everything that Mazda did, the Speed Source guys, Visit Florida, all three cars, you know, it was a huge effort. And unfortunately, we didn't make it quite as far as we wanted. But it's step one in a long process, and I think maybe, you know, a different direction, maybe the future of the sport in a way.
James, last year you were here with the Mazda RX-8, the rotary screamer. This year you were here with the diesels. Did you just leave your earplugs out?
I mean, you really didn't need them. It's funny, you know, we've come from running the RX-8, which is pretty much the loudest machine made by man
on the planet.
Yeah, pound for pound, it's pretty much as loud as it gets. To this diesel, which is as quiet as you can get, and it's a very different experience driving it. You know, you've heard this before. You've seen what some of the diesel engines have done in sports cars and prototype cars and other series and things. And one of the things that drivers say is the first time you drive it, you've got to rely so much on the dash for shifting, because you cannot hear the engine, especially when you're up in 100+ miles an hour up here in the bank at Daytona.
I heard a rumor that Hinchtown might be making an appearance down there at the fan zone. We were just looking at that a little bit ago. Any truth to that?
It's very possible. It's very possible. I have a bit of time on my hands now. My normal job has taken a bit of a back seat. So, you know, I was a fan of racing long before I was a racing driver, and it's kind of cool, actually, in a way, to be here and get a chance to experience a little bit of the fan side of this race.
And certainly your career is on the upswing. You've come through the single-seater ranks. You've got a great ride with Andretti Autosport. But sports car racing, do you expect it to run in parallel with your single-seater career, or is it something you look to further down the road?
It's very much something I'd like to do in parallel. You know, you see a lot of guys come to races like this, races like Sebring, if they can squeeze into Petit Le Mans, things like that. And I'm a big believer that you should drive anything, anytime you can. And, you know, I envy the days of guys when, you know, Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt had different kinds of cars every weekend. And so it's something I actively try and do for sure.
Do you have time to stay with us for another segment?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to take a break and return. The green flag is coming. Here we have a lot of time remaining. 44 at Daytona. I didn't know where to look.